always come here on one or two occasions and said success has many children. And the story that played out in Qatar over here, not too far away from where I'm standing right now, is exactly the same. Success indeed has many children. And the success this time is the success story of Morocco. Morocco in the World Cup semi-final. First time an African nation will get to the World Cup final. And don't be surprised, World Cup semi-final, and don't be surprised, they may get to that final. This is the team with the best defensive record in the World Cup. Considered only one goal in 5 games, and that goal was actually scored by their own defender, an own goal. Otherwise, defending solidly. Pride of their own country, pride of the work that they have put together. And now, because success has many children, everybody is laying claim to Morocco. Everybody wants to say Morocco is one of them. Morocco is African. Morocco is Arab. Morocco is from the Middle East. No, it's African. It is Morocco, guys, it's Morocco. They did well for themselves first, before they did well for anybody else. But let's not lose sight of the fact that they started from somewhere. How did that success story of Morocco actually get started? How did they get here? How did they get to a point where most of Africa is not at the moment? I think that's more food for thought for a lot of people. I've received a lot of messages. I've received a lot of calls. People have spoken to me a lot about this issue of Morocco and how they got it so right. How did they get it right? They got it right because they planned. They got it right because they were organized. They got it right because they were head and shoulders above the rest of the continent for many years coming. Go and see their technical center in Rabat. They got FIFA money. They combined it with the government support and built a wonderful technical center in Rabat. A place to die for, a place that players of the national team will go to and really want to give their best and their all for the nation. How many can boast of that in my darling continent of Africa? They have a coach who is a family guy, a guy who knew the mentality of Moroccan players and brought out the best in them. Went and met with the key players, told them how much he needed them, how important they were to him. Then look at their league, the League of Moroccan Football. I mean, what year do you not see a Moroccan team in the latter stages of African championships, like the Champions League or the Confederation Cup? All of these things add to something. It adds to the reason why the success has come. It will come as no surprise to them because they have worked very hard for it. It will come as a surprise to some of us because we're very myopic and we didn't know. We didn't see the handwriting on the wall when we should have done. Morocco is a success story because they worked hard. And we've got to celebrate hard work, but also we've got to borrow a leaf from what they have done in football, management, administration, and all that. When they were signing all those bilateral deals with countries, the lesser countries, trying to help those lesser countries to develop, how much of the development did those guys take to the lesser countries? How much of the development of Moroccan football did they try to go and emulate in other parts in their own countries? Did they just come and have fun in Morocco? We've got people here in Qatar, presidents of football federations in Qatar, watching the semi-finals, watching the quarterfinals. They will watch the final as well, at the weekend. And I can bet you, a lot of them are busy enjoying the good life over here. It's wonderful. Look at that. This is the view from my own hotel, my own modest hotel. You cannot imagine what it's going to be like at the official team hotel or the FIFA hotels or whatever. Absolute opulence. You don't even want to go there because it's not fair. It's not fair. When these presidents come, they enjoy the opulence, but they go back to their respective countries, and what do they take back? What do they take back to the countries that they come from in terms of development plan, in terms of what they're going to do for their respective countries, so that Morocco, that is head and shoulders above everybody else, we can close that gap, because that gap is growing at the moment. I'll tell you something. Today is about Morocco. We celebrate them. I'm in charge, the founder of the African Football Club. We were determined to come here and support anything African in the World Cup. And I'm proud to say I was here when history was made. But then it will be a waste if we don't go back to the drawing board in Africa and try and mirror what has been achieved in Morocco in other parts of our darling continent, Africa. Can we do that? Now, going to the semi-final game against France, very quickly, let me touch on it. It'll be a derby. It will be a game of brothers. It will be a game of masters against servants. It will be a colonial masters against colonial whatever. I don't want to call us servants because we're not. It will be a tough game. And France will have a real... I watched the two games a couple of days ago. I watched England against France. I watched Morocco against Portugal. And France have got their work cut out. If they think that they're going to go there and just run it and roll over Morocco, that's not going to happen. Because that team defends solidly. That team has imbibed in themselves a mentality and a mindset of defending together, attacking together, fighting and suffering, and a resolve to suffer and die together if they have to in order to get the result. It didn't just happen overnight. But look at the level of players that are playing in Morocco for the Moroccan team. Look at where they're playing. Look at the clubs where they're playing. It's by no fluke, guys. So let's give it to Morocco. They've done well this time. Let's also hope they can sustain it in the next 4 years and have another good World Cup. But let's also try and bridge that gap in Africa and have more countries that are prepared and able to actually do what Morocco is doing right now and give a run for the money of the opposition going into subsequent World Cups and raise the bar and raise the standard of African football through our leagues, for God's sake, through the leagues, the local leagues in Africa, and raise the bar and ask questions of our administrators, and let our administrators know that we're interested and we're involved in the game. What more can I say? Guys, let's just celebrate Morocco for now. Let's celebrate Morocco and let's hope for the best that somehow they will be able to clear that hurdle and get to the final. But whatever happens from here on in, even if they don't, they've done themselves proud. And it's themselves they've done proud first before the rest of Africa.